Thank God. We're live.
Let's see how this goes. I didn't even practice it today, so we'll see how it goes.
I didn't know you ever practice.
Yeah.
Don't really. I usually like kind of pick a song out and go, okay, those are the chords. Let's see how it sounds. And then, if I write lyrics to it or change the lyrics, I'll tend to practice because you have it in your head like what the song naturally is. So you kind of have to kind of rewire it to say something else. But anyway.
When I used to produce the show, I would mess around with moving the initials around, and make different acronyms.
You know what? I think you should go back to producing.
Yeah.
I'm not racing back to that one.
Okay.
If you want to practice for this first bit.
Yeah, we only have one person in the
chat. What we're doing, yeah. We're not. Yeah, this is no one's listening anyway.
Am I coming in clear? Because I'm at one bar on my. Oh, there it goes. Now it's ticking up a little bit. Okay.
The buildings behind the bridge, he lays down. He frowns. Gee, my life's a fun thing. Am I still to be young? He kissed her then and there. She took his ring and took his babies. It took her minutes, took her nowhere. Heaven knows she'd have taken anything but all night. She was a Ramblecast fan. Ramblecast fan. She was a Ramblecast fan.
Woo!
That might be in your top 30.
Top 30, yeah.
Well, it's going to get you some fame,
Maybe.
I liked it. It had heart.
If you could get John Lennon to collaborate with you on,
Aim.
It might work. I mean, you're both kind of dead, right? As far as
he has
I'm dead inside.
He has vocals on another song on that album.
Across the universe.
Hey,
yeah.
Yoko's still alive.
Yeah, but that's what's funny is that because he didn't really collaborate even on Fame that much. At least that's the story that David said, or maybe the guitarist Carlos, I forget what his name is. But he said that no, his David Bowie's lead guitarist basically
Mick Ronson.
No, the one from after Mick.
Okay,
it's like Carlos something. I'm not pretty sure it's Carlos, but
Don't Be Chicken.
He would write, some of the riffs. He's co-written. He's a co-writer on some of Bowie's songs, especially on Station to Station, the one that's kind of got the good guitar riff in it. I don't know. Anyway, but he kind of wrote some of the structure of Fame, and Lennon was just in the room riffing on it. He was riffing, and Lennon was in the room, and all he kept doing was going, aim. Mm-hmm. He wasn't saying Fame, he was just saying aim, and so Bowie took that and called it Fame.
Alomar. Carlos Alomar.
Yeah.
So
he was Bowie's
Luther Vandross
from 74 through 80.
Luther Vandross had backing vocals on that album. Yeah. So
I knew it was one of your favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that album. So
yeah, Will, I noticed that you hadn't been around lately. Yeah.
We also missed about 3 weeks.
I wasn't here. Mentally. Just wasn't here. Had COVID first time.
Get raced.
And okay, what am I doing? I should post this up. Had COVID first time and started Got Rewatch. Finished it Sunday. Nice.
Wow. I think
do you want to borrow some of my blood to make sure you don't get it again?
Yeah, you're
super immunity.
Sure.
Do you know what type you are? What blood type you are, Jack?
I think I'm negative something. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm sure that you're negative. Yeah.
I've known like 100 times. I could never remember. So I might be positive. I don't know.
I'm B positive, which I always find ironic.
I can't believe that's true.
Yeah, I know. So I'm saying, what? No way. It's like I should be B negative, but not.
Actually, I think I have my own type, super immunity type of blood. So I may never die. That's what I'm starting to think. I just may never die. I think eventually I'd be like, was it Benjamin Buttons where you start going backwards?
Backwards.
That might be me. Oh, wait. Will Fry saw your dad on Saturday.
Yeah. Just I guess randomly. Okay. There was quite a few. Like I said, Will and I are from the same hometown, and it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody, but we had a string of elderly deaths lately, so a lot of people came to my hometown. They're all like, "Hey, I saw you folks. Hey, like, are you going to this funeral?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going to be there." But that's kind of how it works, though. Like, my oldest friend, like, I saw your parents the other day. My wife was like, "I can't get over how much you look like your mom." I was like, "Yeah." It's just funny how it all.
It is. It's funny how those older funerals work, because I know when my grandmother died in Pennsylvania, small town in Pennsylvania, my dad came out and we drove up there for it. All his friends that he went to school with, he hadn't seen in years. It was like a reunion, like a party.
Yeah.
And you had the one guy, because I've told the story before. Their school was like Hoosiers, East Berlin, Pennsylvania. They were one game away from going to the state championships, and they only had they had their Jimmy. What's the guy's name? Jimmy, the sharpshooter guy, Jimmy.
Right.
Anyway, Jimmy, and then the rest of the guys
Jimmy.
were just guys. And the one guy was on. He goes, Kenny Geiger. Hi, I'm Kenny Geiger, class of 54 or whatever, 52 or 54, whatever it was.
Right.
That's how he introduced himself. And I'm like going, "Oh, okay. Nice to meet you, Kenny. I'm just Jack."
Yeah, just Jack.
But it was weird. It wasn't like it was a funeral. It was like a party. Even though I almost fell into the when I was carrying the coffin, I almost fell into the hole.
And that's usually, like, in my experience from my hometown, most funerals usually are kind of like a mini reunion or some sort, and we tend to be just all sick sense of humor fuckers anyhow. So
yeah,
we'll be the people that, well, at least I would be the person to walk through the funeral and I'm like, shit, I'm glad Jack went when he did. He looked like,
well, again, I'm not going because I got the blood.
You got the blood, but that's what I mean. But I to me, it's it's already a sad time. Try to make it as happy as you can.
Yeah, I think people should have a good time. I want people to have a good time at my funeral. So
yeah.
I mean, it's going to be 100 years from now.
Chitwood.
Yeah. Chitwood. Yeah. Jimmy Chitwood. Yeah. So those funerals they're interesting. I didn't know it was going to be a viewing. That kind of shocked me. I go, wait, there's a what?
Yeah.
Why do you people do that? I don't want to see.
I know.
I don't want to see that. It's the third time I've seen something like that.
I think my mom finally accepted that about myself, is that, if I went early, I told her, I was like, I don't want an open casket. I don't want even a funeral. You can have graveside, but I would rather prefer a wake, just something where everybody hangs out and have a good time. I don't want people looking at me, because I don't look at anybody in the casket, because I don't want that to be my last memory of them. I always want to remember them as they were, because, like, to me, that's just, a physical thing. It's like, that's not them. But
yeah,
some people feel that way.
This is a pretty cheery start to the show,
isn't it? Yeah. It's all talking about your blood and your immortality. That's what's.
Well, I'm just saying, everyone I know has had COVID.
Yeah.
I refuse to get it. I refuse to have it.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, it's gonna get you.
Well, aren't you cheery? Have some faith. Have some faith in me, man. Some faith.
It's like the rhythm. Eventually, it's gonna get you.
I mean, you've been vaccinated, so I mean that's the thing. Is like now when you get it, it'll just be like, oh.
What are you doing, Muhammad?
I'm fighting COVID.
Have you guys seen that trailer? There's a movie coming out about George Foreman. I'm not sure how good it'll be. but I kind of want to watch it. You know,
There better be a shot from The Office. To me, I like bacon. I like the smell of bacon in the morning. Is that one of the funniest sketches or bits they ever had on
I don't know. I mean, there's so many, but I mean, that's an early one because that's from like I think season 1. So
No, see, it has to be season 2.
the George Foreman.
Yeah,
I think that's season 1.
Really, I don't think he was that Chuck. There was only 6 episodes in season 1.
I know. I'm googling it right now. So Foreman Grill. Mm-hmm. Episode. It was the injury. Oh, season 2, episode 12. Sorry,
Okay. That's okay.
I knew it was early on. Sometimes I think
season
of season 2 as season 1.
My favorite episode of season 1 is the basketball scene where they're playing in the basketball. I've seen that.
Oh,
I used to have it up. Yeah, I used to have it on my video iPod. Remember those little things? When I'd go to cheerleading, I'd watch it. When I'd go to anywhere I was somewhere I didn't want to be, I would watch that.
That was your go-to episode.
That was my go-to video. I had a couple of lost episodes on there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember doing that too. That was a pain in the ass back in the day to get video on those things.
Oh yeah,
right.
They took up they took up so much space. And then,
but how amazing! What were those things? We go
right.
Because I used to sing because Jay didn't have one. I go, don't you wish your iPod was hot like mine? Don't you? Don't you? And he'd get all pissed off because he always wanted to have, whenever there was technology, he wanted to have the state of the art technology. And he got pissed.
Oh no, not Jay.
When anybody else got it, he was like when I got my computer, he goes, no, you don't want that computer. I go, why? It's too much computer for you. I go, what are you talking about?
You should just give me that computer.
I said, oh, so you mean this computer is going to be better than your computer? No. He's not on here. We can bash him.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I remember when all that stuff started to come out because like I couldn't afford an iPod when they first came out, so I got a creative MP3 player, which was still pretty good. I can't remember how. I think it only had like 8 gigs or something like that of songs, but that was a shit ton of memory in there for the 2000s. I still have my very first flash drive I ever bought, and it was only either 1 or 2 gigs, and it was $60. Because that was when they first came out with them. Going from the zip drive to the flash drive, it was a big leap up.
Mike is breaking this illusion for me that I thought George Foreman invented that grill himself. Like he,
No.
As he was boxing and stuff like that in his career, he was like, you know what? I need to make a better way to like have lean grilled meat. So Miami Mike in the chat is saying it was originally supposed to be Hulk Hogan grill, but he missed the call. They moved on to George.
I think it was more successful with having George Foreman than Hulk Hogan. I think George Foreman is more sincere. He's a better salesman, because Hulk would have been very Hulk.
He wasn't when he was younger.
No, not when he was younger. No.
He was a completely different person from his younger days. He was an angry person when he was younger. Then he became lovable. I mean, I remember when he was making when he retired, it was like, why is he retiring? He lost the fight. Yeah. Was it Muhammad Ali he lost to?
Muhammad Ali, yeah.
Yeah, and he just said, and he just said, I quit, Mr. White. And when he came back, I'm like going, and I think that's when cable TV first was starting around, if I remember correctly. And he came back and he held his own.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a big guy.
I'm hoping the movie. I've never read an autobiography about Foreman or anything, but because I think that's where it's starting. I think that's where the movie starts off, is him losing to Ali, because he was just unstoppable. He was just so tall, so massive. Just pure power, and that's where Rocky III comes in. That's basically the homage to that. It's because Ali could not outbox George Foreman. He could just outsmart him, and that's what he did. He just wore him out.
Yeah,
and I think that's what
he did. He did the rope-a-dope, where people would punch his gloves, and then he'd wear him down. Now he's getting mad. so or angry, whatever he was doing. But I do know that George Foreman has like 8 kids, and all the boys are named George.
George, yeah.
Yeah.
That's also kind of weird, though, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
George, you know, if you ever heard George talk about that, like he has a good joke about it. You know, when people ask him why he named all his kids George, he says, "Well, he goes, I'm a boxer." He goes, "I had to be prepared for memory loss." So he goes, "I just yell out George, and one of them will come."
He's not wrong, because we have today we had 4 grandkids with us. 2 are spending the night, and I all day long, except for Ava, I'm like, Hayden, Alex, Zach. In fact, sometimes I'll call Zach Jay, because he's like
Mini
Jay. He's mini Jay.
Mhm.
He eats like him, runs like him, talks like him. Sometimes I go, Jay, what is your name? And
My grandparents always would call me or call us. It was always they'd always start with the correct one first. You know, like they'd get your name first right, but they had to go through all of the grandchildren in order to come back around to you. So it was Matt or Alan, I mean Eric or Jeff, Matt. And so it was just like all 4 of our names in one big, huge. So
I mean, we're going to have another, because we have the 2 Emory ones are drawn by Hayden and Jesus Christ, I forgot the name. Hayden and see, I'm getting old. I can't remember.
yeah. So
but anyway, Hayden and Ashton. Jesus. So Hayden and Ashton. I go, "Hey, Ashton," and he'll look at me like, "I'm Hayden. I'm Hayden. I'm Hayden." I go, "All right, Hayden. Jeez. Wait till you make a mistake someday."
Hayden's
and Alex,
just
I'm always screwing up.
He's just like, my fucking grandfather doesn't even know who I am. I'm just like with the rest of these like trapped souls here, you know? Like,
it's tough. I mean, I screw up all the time. But it is what it is. I'll survive. Well, maybe I won't.
Yeah, speaking of the name Hayden, I'm sure Matt probably remembers, you know, but we have our Denver Comic-Con.
oh yeah.
Every July 1st and 2nd, 3rd, or whatever, roughly. And I went last year because the Lord of the Rings guys were there this year, and I didn't really plan on ever going back, but because Hayden Christensen will be there this year, and I need his autograph on my sheet of stamps, because I've got the majority of the actors, aside from like Harrison Ford and you know, the ones that are dead. I mean, Carrie Fisher and some other people who have passed on. But I was looking at what it's so changed in just 10 years, like how much it costs for getting people's autographs. It used to be like, oh, like, you know, this guy is $60, you know, and he'll sign whatever you want, you know, or whatever. Hayden Christian has got some fucking balls on him, let me tell you. So just for his autograph on pictures he brings, that's $150. If you want to bring something of your own that's small, it's $200. So it's going to cost me $200 to get his signature on my stamps. That's just for that.
Is it because
he's got. Oh, go ahead, Jack.
There's photographs.
Is it because it's rare that he's at one of these things and it's hard to get his autograph?
Probably, yes, but you know, I think just nowadays they're milking it for everything you can, you know, because like even when I got Mark Hamill's, I think his was 150, you know, and that was 6 years ago, or maybe a little bit longer than 6 years ago. But now I think he's up to 200 just for the autograph. But like this is what made me a little bit irritable though, because like it's one thing to say like, oh, I'm just flat out $100 or $150 for the autograph. Hayden has escalating scales. So as I'm saying, like just for a photograph with his signature on it, it's $150. If I bring something of my own that's small, it's $200. If I bring something large, it's $250. Sorry, it's $200 for something small, $250 for something large. If I bring like a big movie poster, or if I bring like a model or something I want him to sign, it's $250. Now, and what's the biggest crime of it all is if I want him to actually write something on it. So you know, it's just up until now, it's just been his signature. But if I want him to write something like, "This is where the fun begins," Hayden Christensen, that's another $100 on top of it. It's like, dude, you were literally charging $20 per fucking word.
By the way, it would be really funny because I know most people are just bringing Star Wars stuff,
right?
But how awesome would it be to have his signature and here's where the fun begins, or this is where the fun begins, and you get it on a dildo,
right?
You know.
Can you
like I just need you to sign this lightsaber that I got.
Weird lightsaber, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one of the new ones they sell at Disney parks. So,
but to be fair, I almost see their point because people do this for a living. They'll get some star's autograph and they'll take it and sell. Okay, they charge $250 and they're going out and charging $750.
Right,
$750. So it's like,
right. It depends on the rarity of it. Yeah,
I get it,
but the thing is, it's one thing if I'm getting it signed for me, which I am. Like I have no proof that they actually signed it. I would actually have to get an actual what's it called? Someone to say like, yes, all these people's signatures are their signatures to to resell it, and that's what most people on eBay have to do. That they have to have that letter of authenticity to resell it.
That's what I'm looking for this dildo. Is that letter of authenticity?
Actual says, Hayden Christensen used dildo.
And a picture of him, not used, brand new in the box, right? In the box. I want it to be pristine so that when someone does open it finally and they're like, oh, this is where the fun begins.
Jim, to answer your question, I am not going this year. I went every year from 2008 to present when I could, and just I wanted to use my week off after Comic-Con. I mean, after my convention. I'm there always the week before Comic-Con for another convention, but I wanted to use that vacation time to go explore Montana this year, maybe a little bit of Alberta.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm not going. But I mean, I'm still in the register because I did purchase. Fuck that guy that just joined. I did just.
Wait, what registry are you part of?
The Comic-Con. So I did get my tickets, but I gave them to a friend who's going. So,
a friend.
I still can get them for next year if I want to go. But it's expensive. I mean, it's just the hotel alone is, what costs the majority of the money.
I wasn't going to go this year, but we're going.
They just keep drawing you back in.
It's if it weren't for family, I probably would have said, "Fuck it, I'm not going this year."
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's kind of how
you said that last year.
I say it every year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the last few years, that's kind of been what me and Cliff have said. It's like, if it wasn't for all of our friends to go every year, we would have stopped going. And even Cliff kind of didn't want to go this coming year, but because he gets a free badge because it's his profession, he can just go. But he already messaged me. He's like, hey, let me know the week that you're there before Comic-Con, and I'll come down a few days early and we can hang out. I was like, oh yeah, cool. So, we'll hang out at the 7-Eleven and eat some.
Get a hot dog.
Jack read my mind. I said there's a joke here somewhere, and he dropped it. So well done.
It's a shame you were on mute.
It was muted. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you were to get Anakin Skywalker quote written by Hayden Christensen on any object, could be a dildo, what would you choose? I mean, there's a couple. I mean, may the force be with you would be
no.
Okay.
On a dildo, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Chris, to catch you up, and
I hate sand; it gets everywhere.
I was saying, I wasn't going to go to Denver's Comic-Con because it's expensive, but Hayden Christensen's going to be there, so I need his autograph on a sheet that I've got a lot of Star Wars actors.
And he's charging too much,
but he's charging an insane amount because it's one thing where
really?
Most of my experience with actors that do these things, it's like a flat fee. It's like, oh, my autograph is $60, I'll sign whatever you want, or it's $100 or whatever. But he has a tier system to where it's like if you get the photograph he brings with just his autograph on it, it's $150. Then for what I'm bringing, which is my own personal property for him to sign, it's $200.
Fuck right off.
Right. And then if I brought something large like
A dildo.
It would be $250.
High five.
So okay, all right. You can have my contribution of our Patreon money this month if you put that towards a dildo, because that would be a fucking great story. Like if you could get Hayden
I'm sure
Christensen
he'll
to
sign
say,
it.
"I'm such a dick," and have him sign a dildo, like that would be awesome.
Well, Matt was saying it should be "This is where the fun begins," and have him signing.
Ooh. Yes, I like where this is going. That's great.
Or you could go with your quote, "Fuck right off."
Fuck right off. Yeah, fuck right off is bullshit. So it's crazy. I mean, obviously, I mean, how much of that is his agent versus him?
Right.
But like, it's kind of sucks because you see like all these videos. I saw a video of him recently, actually at Celebration, and he was like emotional and like crying and shit, like about like the support of the fans.
Maybe he was finally acting.
I mean, him and the actor who played Jar Jar. I mean, they and also Jake Lloyd. I mean, they got a lot of shit, and
sure.
I don't blame them for,
And-
being
and-
bitter
and
for
Jake-
a few years.
And
then
Jake
now
Lloyd
they're fine.
was young.
He
And
was so young.
it
And
really kind of
he
fucked him
turned into
up.
a delinquent.
Yeah.
He's
like,
like
really
he
busted,
basically
like, drag
quit
racing.
acting. He quit acting after.
Who is
Star
that? Is that
Wars,
the is that little
The
the little kid?
Anakin?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You're in the reimagination, or not but the number one episode 1. You're at the beginning of it all, and then
He's the
like,
second most hated Star Wars character.
Yeah, I mean, he's right up there.
And
with Joffrey,
he wasn't
right?
he wasn't bad in it.
He
wasn't
did
annoying
exactly.
as
He
shit.
did. He was annoying, but he did exactly what he was told. He nailed
right.
what he was supposed to do.
Right.
That's true.
And that's the thing. That's the thing with me is like I don't think I've ever hated a Star Wars actor. Like I've never said no, fuck that person. Like it's usually just either bad writing or something that just missed. But I've never.
Yeah,
you can't hate
the
actors are just doing their job.
Hey, do you guys see numbers by your box? I've been messing around with stuff here, and it's
I
like
see 205.
I see 205. What is that related to? Is that how fast you raced?
yeah. I mean, has anyone in the chat noticed that it says RACD? Because I didn't until Matt pointed it out when we started recording.
Chris is
Racked
muted.
episode.
I didn't notice that until just now.
I had up there since Tuesday. I didn't know it.
Okay.
He wasn't bad. A huge compliment from legendary child actor hater Jack.
That's funny. So,
Well, to be fair,
wow.
there are good child actors, but a lot of shows they skimp on hiring the actors,
Right.
and
Sure.
and they don't. If you're gonna have the kids as main characters, get kids that can act.
Mhm.
Well,
not many kids
the
can.
kids age. I mean, you put so much on a show with kids, and then they're going to age out of that role, and then you don't have.
Well, then you know what?
a show anymore.
Like that show Terra Nova, all the kids should have just died
Right.
or been in hibernation or something. There
So
was something
someone's
that-
going to use that quote.
All the kids should have just died.
Jack, all the kids, they should.
Well, no, I'm saying whatever.
Vote
I
for
forget-
Jack Gladfeld to
I think it
city
was-
council.
Wasn't it like global warming at Terra Nova that was doing things? The kids could have been in like incubators or something like that.
I think you have a political career in front of you. You just go with that quote right there.
Yep.
People will both hate and love you. There'd be those people. No, I support what Jack said on that.
Hey, as long as it's not Bud Light.
Hey, so while we're on the topic of Star Wars, that I know Jack loves so much.
Yes.
Matt,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on this past episode of
Hold that
The
thought.
Mandalorian?
I
At
love.
this
I
time,
love.
we're going to take a
What?
commercial break.
Oh,
Shit.
Shout out to Will Fry. He owns Tammy and the T-Rex on fucking 4K Blu-ray. That's
How
amazing.
nice.
That's awesome. Okay,
Yeah. So
Matt,
yeah.
thoughts. Your thoughts on Mandalorian.
I liked it.
I want to give you the opportunity first so I can
Shit on it.
come in and share.
Now there are so this is funny because my brother called me up this morning and we were talking about it, and he's always like nitpicking things. Like he's a worse nitpicker than Nick this entire season. Like he's picked apart things
It's
that
not
Nick
hard to
hasn't even
nitpick this season.
Nick has never even mentioned. That said,
Yeah.
Fun new direction for this they end out this season. So, and it looks like they're going pretty dark.
Is there just one more episode?
Yeah.
Because they can't fit in
there's
everything Chris
one.
and I were brainstorming this morning in one episode.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on this past week's episode?
Thoughts on I don't know. My thoughts on it. It was, I liked it. I liked the fact that we got Mandalore. We got some major reveals with characters, some plot finally like filled in the gaps between what happened to the Darksaber. We got Shadow Council happening. We've got big bads happening. We've got more characters from Heir to the Empire appearing, and so all
in Rebels.
Yeah, and I think I don't know how directly they're going to connect this to Ahsoka, as though like, hey, we're going to end this season and now you got to watch Ahsoka to carry it on, or if Ahsoka will be its own thing. So
I think they're going to bleed. Yeah.
So I had bigger questions about who the spies were. So
I know exactly.
It's the armor.
Yeah,
the armor.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So like, let me ask you this question, because it sounds like a muted response comparatively speaking to last week. I think last week you got a little animated with your review of the last episode because we didn't like it. But did you think that this episode was better or worse or the same? Did you like it, or are you being pensive so I don't jump and shit on it?
All of the above. No,
I fucking loved it.
I think
this is my introduction, so we can be together on this one, Matt. I loved this episode. I'm going for a hug.
Come on, the circle of love.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I thought it was fucking awesome.
I'm moving away.
Oh,
yeah, no, it was good. I mean, there's, I like how. Okay, this season's been rocky, but knowing that they have season 4 written as well, I think that there are bigger things that they are planting in this season to pay off in the next season. And so I think there are certain things that are happening with characters that are going to play out in ways in which we're going to be left kind of, I don't know. I think season 3 will probably end with a bigger cliffhanger. Yeah. I hope that we don't get into another okay, we captured Din again, or we capture Grogu, or like this separation of the two. But I think the reason that they captured Din is a plot reason. I think he is a lure. Like they want the child. They still want the child.
Right.
And if the armorer is who we think she is and who we've suspected her to be, and oh, by the way, she's just as horny as his helmet.
Heyo.
Then I think, that Mandalorian shield that she made for little Grogu could also be a little tracking device on there too, maybe.
Oh,
and by the way,
as Nick mentioned, the key to saving his life.
So
could be.
So yeah, all right. Chris and I, bright and early this morning, at least bright and early for me, we were discussing the episode and potential theories. And so right from the get-go, back to what we were saying, both of us were armor's definitely the mole, and it makes total sense in that she wanted all the Mandalorians in one spot together. Right. You're at a planet they can't defend properly. You have atmospheric interference, so there's no way to communicate in space. There's a lot of things that go into this. Go ahead.
To nitpick that point, if they can't communicate, how's Moff Gideon communicating with this Shadow Council from that secret base, right? So, unless, of course,
lazy writing.
Unless they're jamming. Unless there's the atmospheric.
I hope you like jamming too.
Lone Star.
Unless the atmospheric interference is the jamming, like that there's some kind of,
The
you know,
radar
or they
is
have a
jammed.
beacon out there or something like that, or some to relay messages or something like that. Because that part of the plot is something that you know, is definitely kind of like, wait, if you can't communicate, then how is he communicating to other people out? So
Yeah,
I'm gonna give my
it's a good
crazy
question.
crackpot theory.
yeah,
My crazy crackpot
It-
theory.
whoa,
to steal
whoa.
Jack's term.
It's just crackpot theory. Don't be a dick.
All right, my crazy crackpot theory.
my cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
My cuckoo for Cocoa.
Silly
What is
rabbit.
it again? It's just
He
crackpot theory, not crazy crackpot theory. Crackpot theory. You can call it crazy crackpot theory, but don't put
Jack,
my
can
name
you-
involved
you-
in it.
It's actually crazy how much of a crackpot theory this is.
No,
So
you can go with that.
my theory is that this entire series
It's a fever dream.
is all a fool's errand for the Mandalorians. That we are just watching them be taken out, decimated, erased. And my theory for that is that because if you think about how they're tying this into all the, you know, the tie-in for the Filoni movie or whatever, blah, 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 and everything kind of ties into the sequels. There is not, at least I couldn't think of, and I'm making this statement not knowing if it's true or not, but I don't think there's even one mention of a Mandalorian in the sequel movies.
Well, I mean, it's not really mentioned in the OT. I mean,
Fair,
the word Mandalorian.
fair, but
So-
I'm basing on the fact that there's not even a breath of Mandalorian in those movies. I think that we're seeing the end of the Mandalorians. I think we're seeing the eradication of the Mandalorians.
Okay.
That's my. It's crazy how crackpot my
This
theory
is
is.
fucking
Theory.
crazy enough that yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, to kind of culminate on, I said that word right. On what Chris and I were talking about was like, what if the Filoni movie, because he's already said that he's going to blend the Mandalorian storyline with the Ahsoka storyline. What if the final battle we see in that movie is the Battle of Jakku, and that's like the final last stand?
I thought Jakku was part of, and the Jakku graveyard was part of the whole aftermath stories. Now I realize that they can totally retcon and snowblow over that. You know, they've done that before with some of the books. It'd be kind of weird since that was like the first book series that they came out with.
Right.
But it would allow them to bring in people like Gallius Rax,
right? Or even Sloane into live action. I think there's a lot.
Is that from Ferris Bueller?
No,
Sloane.
what's her name?
So
Admiral
that's how
Sloane.
they do it in their family.
Oh yeah. Now I know who you're talking about. Now I know. Who you're talking about.
So like the idea of that, because I actually said there's so many fucking great stories in there in Aftermath, and I'm listening to Heir of the Empire now. There's so many great stories that are there that they could just completely run with, and I think that there's a huge opportunity for them to kind of use that to like tie these things together. I mean, especially with the whole like reincarnation of Palpatine, right? Because that is explored somewhat.
What about
in the Aftermath series,
and then it's actually really cool, and how much that
involves Rax and how much it involves Commander Sloane, or I'm sorry, Admiral Sloane
and Thrawn. There's the tie-in.
I always took that Aftermath series as though that they kind of gathered those forces and they went out to the wild regions. We didn't hear from them for a really long time.
Is why Thrawn is not present at the Shadow Council.
Sure, or he's just has Captain Pelion as his like little, you know, like he's his spy. That's Thrawn's spy, you know.
Sure.
Because I mean that's his captain. So why wouldn't Thrawn just be like, I don't know. I just always feel like Thrawn is best when he is like 5 moves ahead of the other people. And sure, we can have Moff Gideon be a badass, but what makes Thrawn cool is that he's just like, oh, you're down there. I've already thought, you know. I saw a meme. This was from.
Here's my force lizard to stop you. Where the these force lizards?
It's the Mad Men meme of like, I don't even think
or
about
anti-force lizards.
You know what I'm saying? Like the
right.
Oh yes, yeah. Bringing those in. I think any elements that they bring in with Heir to the Empire trilogy, And I think there's room for them to blend even some of the stuff with the Mandalorians and even that whole dark. Those ships that they find, the Shadow Fleet that's out there.
So full disclosure,
Yeah.
and Nick has already given me a sufficient amount of shit for this. I have not yet read Heir to the Empire. I have just started.
Okay. That's
Jackson,
fair.
even Jackson.
And Jack's like, fuck, those books are 30 years old. What the hell?
I mean, those books reignited a lot of fan love for Star Wars, and those characters that were created, and hopefully we see some other characters.
And to your point, though, you said that we might be able to take some parts of some of these stories and bring them to life, right? And for those who have not listened to or read Heir to the Empire, it's not necessarily canon at all anymore.
It's not,
right? Because
not
like,
canon anymore.
because it's officially not canon. As an example, like Princess Leia or Leia Solo, or whatever the fuck her name is, and she's pregnant with twins, right?
Right.
And that's not the same storyline.
Correct.
Nice reference, Jack. So like that's a whole different like storyline there about like twins, and I think that Han Solo and Leia end up having 3 children, right?
Yes,
Twins and then a singular child.
Yeah, one of them is named Jason as well, which connects to Hera's son, which would be in Ahsoka essentially. So
right,
we could see elements of all of these kind of things play out, and I'm here for it. If Filoni is at least, that's all I wanted from any of the sequel trilogy, is pulling in some of the sources as opposed to completely rejecting it.
Give Filoni all the keys to the button.
What Marvel did with some of those movies, they were like, oh, hey, there's a Civil War story. We're just going to go ahead and tell that Civil War story, as opposed to completely ignoring all of these writers with their really great ideas that have worked on this entire series for decades.
I read only in 2 different articles, or 2 at least quotes anyhow. Like I'm pretty sure Favreau said that they are borrowing heavily for the Ahsoka series from Heir to the Empire, and Filoni said that he immediately approached Zahn about how do I introduce Zahn into this world. So he did at least seek his advice for how do we bring him in a really effective way. So I mean, they are, and it's good on them to
for sure, because that's again everything that I think that was one of our criticisms about Rise of Skywalker, is like, why couldn't you have had Thrawn at the end of all of this, or like bring in?
My God, yeah.
But I would rather have Thrawn brought to life in this medium of TV, where we can get all the nuance of his character. We don't have to just get to the action adventure like punch. We can let things build. So
I did want to run Chris and I's theory by you that we came up with this morning, and I'm just going to give us both credit because it was a cooperative. Is that so obviously we think the armorer is the mole, and then I even went more and said like,
this is all you. This is all you. I'm going to step
wait,
aside. This is yours.
What are you saying?
The armorer in the Mandalorian is definitely the mole.
Okay.
And then I would even go even farther to say that all of the Mandalorians that were on planet are actually Imperials as well. And so when she says, I need the ship to take these weak people to the cruiser, she's basically bringing up a small army up there to take over the cruiser, to capture it, and then turn the cruiser's guns on all the surrounding Mandalorian ships. So it'll be light work once the TIE fighters and TIE bombers get up there. And then there's also 2 down there as well with the rest of the Mandalorians to guide them more into traps. And then what I would say to Chris was, all right, and then what if now that the Mando is captured, Grogu in his little IG 12 costume, whatever we call it. Like, let's say, I don't know when this would happen. This could happen next season or maybe at the end of the season, but I kind of thought it would be cool if Grogu fought the armorer, and in a kind of ironic poetic justice, maybe they end it there where we all think that Grogu gets killed, but the thing that saves his life is the breastplate that she made for him. So there's some interesting ways they could go with it. And me being me, if it doesn't happen the way I think it'll happen, I'll probably bitch. But
Sure. Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways that it can go. I mean, I was imagining that, and now that he has this machine to he can pick up the Darksaber.
Yeah.
So, what's to say that, and maybe it won't even happen in this season, but what's to say that we don't see that happen, or him riding a mythosaur? If we don't see a mythosaur by the end of this season, then what has
what about a cold sore?
What have all of the creatures been leading up to, right? Like, I feel like they've systematically put a creature in these episodes, showing us oh, there's all of these
animals.
Yeah, I mean,
lots of them.
It's a Chekhov's gun, right? Like, you showed us the mythosaur in episode 2.
That's the wrong space series.
Oh, Jack's here. He's still listening.
Oh yeah.
I'm always listening.
I also think there's one element of Grogu's power that we haven't seen him use yet, and it might be the thing that he saves Din from death.
So the force healing.
Yeah, the force healing, but it always drains him, so he'll be weak, easily capturable.
Yeah. Do you wonder if he is skilled enough to do that power yet? Because that's a big deal.
Well, that's where it'd get emotional, because he'd have to take off the helmet and put his hands on his face or something.
Well, for the Grogu fans out there, there's good news is the fact that it's already been confirmed he's going to play a big part in the Ahsoka series.
Oh, nice.
And he will be within 10 to 12 years of age from how old Yoda was in the original Star Wars.
It's working for baseball.
That's funny. Okay, fine. We can move on, Miami Mike.
The best part, though, for me, is that Nick and I were I was getting ready for work. Nick was getting ready to get out of bed. And I was just, we're firing back and forth, all these, did you know? Did you know? Well, what about this? Well, did you know this? And I'm at one point, I think I just texted Nick. I go, holy fuck, we're nerds. This is the worst conversation. If anybody ever saw a transcript of our conversation, they'd be like, those guys don't have sex.
My brother and I, our conversation this morning, and he was just, he was tearing this episode apart. Just up and down. He's basically if Bo handed over the Darksaber, then why would they follow her? Mm-hmm. Basically she is not true Mandalore. That's
not bad.
So
take.
And just why didn't she use the Darksaber sooner to get to Gideon? Of course she would have made herself vulnerable, which doesn't make sense, because you're trying to get away from the guy and all of those troops. Also, these Beskar troopers, they come in all badass, but then they just go down like
little punks. Yeah,
and without flies.
It's just nothing.
Bitches.
Well,
what? One last thing I want to
talk about. It's okay. We can continue to talk.
Somebody at work was
made the reference today that Paz Vizsla was like Walter Sobchak from The Big Lebowski because of the Sabak game where he was like, that's not the rules, and he gets up and threatens to fight. And it was totally that scene from the bowling alley in The Big Lebowski. He was like, mark it 0, dude.
That would be a really good meme.
It was awesome.
Anyway, looking forward to the next episode, and we don't have to talk Star Wars anymore.
No, we can talk about this as long as you guys want.
Oh, I remember. So my brother and I talking about this, kicking the can around.
I was just fucking kidding, but go ahead.
He at some point, we can transition after this, but after this at some point he was like, oh, we're just gonna have to stop talking about this because I'm not liking what you're saying. I was like, okay. So I texted him later, and I was just like, your mom always wonders how we get along, and because we have, basically she's like, how do you guys not talk about politics? I said, yeah, we don't talk about politics, but the Mandalorian, oh, we'll throw down on. So,
Oh, why
Is he of opposite views of yours?
if you saw him, you would think that or make that assumption. I think that he's probably just like a more likely to like.
Is he
vote a certain
blowing
way.
up? Is he blowing up Bud Light cans?
No,
Okay.
which is about the most idiotic.
I had to
Right,
ask.
right.
I had to ask.
That is
that
honestly,
last
God,
comment.
I am loving all of those people who are posting videos of all the money they've already given Anheuser-Busch about how they're gonna fucking shoot their cans.
I'll be honest with you. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah,
I think
me
Matt,
either.
you talked about it last week. And I was like, I go, why is Kid Rock shooting?
He's a fucking
promoting
moron.
gun violence. I didn't get it, and then finally go, oh, I thought it was just because the beer sucks.
their beer sales went up.
I don't like the beer.
The beer sales went up because everybody went out to buy it to blow it up.
I actually at my daughter's birthday party, we had her party last weekend at a bowling alley. I specifically got a Bud Light in silent protest, I guess, against the idea of people shooting their cans. I never drink Bud Light. I was like, I'll drink a fucking Bud Light or two, or maybe four.
There's more important thing. I just come on, people.
Yeah, you don't know how commerce works. Apparently,
Also, I said it last week. I'll say it again. But you can make laws. You can make all the laws you want to try to suppress gays and transsexual, oriented people. They still exist. And all you're doing is trying to hurt them. That's all that these laws are put in place, is try to hurt these people. But they still exist. And they existed this whole time.
Right there.
So, to make laws against gays or trans, it's just hurting people, and it's hurting kids.
Or the guy who runs over a can of Bud Light with his Ford truck that actually came off of like an LGBTQ campaign about inclusiveness with Ford vehicles.
Yeah,
fucking idiots.
I saw somebody post like that they would gone out and bought all of this Jack Daniels, and then the immediate next post was all of the advertisements Jack Daniels has done that has been pro LGBTQ. It's just kind of
What's the guy? What's the Saturday Night Live guy? It's the news guy. It's Colin Farrell, not Colin Farrell.
Colin Jost.
Colin Jost and
Michael Che.
Michael Che. He said on Instagram, I can't remember it word for word, but basically he said they need to have someone, a trans person, come out and promote guns.
Well, I mean, it is fucking so hypocritical. There's all of these laws to restrict what you read.
Gays for ARs.
What sexual orientation can be. If a woman has the right to choose what she wants to do with her body, all of these laws passing and trying to restrict people, but no, we cannot talk about
it didn't work 100 years ago. It's not going to work today. So I don't know. I just shake my head at the world sometimes. Go, I don't know.
It's a lot of idiots here.
Yeah. Well, not here.
No, in this podcast.
Yeah. Well, me, because I stuck around through the whole Mandalorian talk.
Oh, it was sweet.
I did want to talk.
I felt the need, Jack. I felt the need because I think
that is
last
fine.
Last week, Matt did not feel comfortable having the conversation about how much I hated the Mandalorian.
I like having these different adventures. I liked that it was different. I liked that it was psychedelic and kind of surreal, and the light and the brightness of that.
I wasn't inviting a conversation to continue the conversation.
No. I think now too, like you have this really bright, surreal episode, and then you go to this really dark kind of tone. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe we should change it to the RACD.
Did you RACD?
RACD.
Ramble after Cast Dark.
Cast Dark.
Yeah.
I'm
RACD.
Episode 1.
Racked. That's how most of us feel after this show airs.
Anyway, I did see a movie. If you guys want to talk about
what
something.
did you see, Jack?
It had nothing to do with Star Wars.
Fuck.
I apologize ahead of time. I saw Air.
What'd you think? Was it good?
It was excellent.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I mean, it's the story. It's not really. It's about Nike.
It's about.
Oh, right. I remember now. Yeah,
it's about it. Michael Jordan's in there, but I mean, he's kind of in there, but it's. I don't want to spoil you, but it's more about how Nike went from, just a running shoe to boom. And Matt Damon he's an excellent actor because Ben Affleck's in it, and you go, Matt Damon. I mean, I know they're friends and they started out together, but Matt Damon is so much better, such a better actor.
He always was. I mean, even
I know
Good Will Hunting.
I know. I just threw that. But the movie doesn't. Go ahead.
Affleck directed it, right?
I think he did. He's a good director. But the thing with the movie is, it's one of those movies that doesn't have any lull. It just starts out interesting and just the whole movie is just like you're like. In fact, when it was the Alamo Draft House when they brought our bill, I go, already? The movie's over already. So, but
That's awesome.
I highly recommend it. It was interesting, fascinating things I didn't know.
Fun
it was
fact
it was funny at times.
Yeah. Interesting fact about that movie. So the screenplay for that movie, I don't know that individual's name. I'm sure. Oh, Matt Treese is here. You probably know.
Yeah, Matt Treese. How did Matt Treese not post it already?
So there's actually the story goes that the person who wrote the screenplay for that movie Air, what I think they wrote like a I don't know what the term is in screenwriting, but like a loose or rough draft or of whatever the script was. But it wasn't a script. He did not write a script. He wrote like a treatment of sorts, and just submitted it to like whomever to kind of see if they could pick it up as a movie. So Affleck and Damon's production house, that's actually produced by their company. They started a production studio. They picked up this submission for this movie, and for all legal purposes, they didn't necessarily actually like take enough from the script to like give him credit for writing the movie screenplay, but they gave him 100% credit for writing the movie screenplay, which I thought was actually really, really cool. I'm not exactly sure how that whole thing works, but like the idea was like he approached this guy and was like, hey, we got our break in the industry because somebody gave us a chance, like, and that's what we're doing for you. So like they got this guy who had like a rough connected script or screenplay for what the movie ended up being, and just gave him full credit for writing it, which I thought was actually really fucking cool and like classy move. And
they're from Massachusetts,
way to
right?
steal somebody else's homework.
They're from Boston.
They are, yeah.
Really?
Okay. And I just thought I thought it was really cool because I think this might be one of the first movies to come out of their production studio. But like, it made me feel good hearing that they did that.
My wife, even because she's not a big Jason Bateman fan, she goes, even he was good in the movie. Huh. Same character.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah, he's in it.
Bateman's great.
Hey, whoa! I like him. She doesn't like him.
Yeah, it's weird.
She doesn't like ABBA either, so it's like, oh, what are you gonna do? But,
take a chance on me.
But no, and Chris Tucker's in it, but it's not Chris Tucker on helium. So
he's on air.
Like an example, Chris Tucker's role in the movie is completely non sequitur. They just created that. That's not like a real.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's not based on anybody, but yeah.
So there's another movie. I think Chris has seen it because he gave the thumbs up to it. Tetris. So
yes.
I liked that. That was a lot of fun, and that's on Apple Plus right now. So if you have
Tetris,
that,
great movie. That's Taron Egerton, and that's for those who haven't heard about or seen the trailers for it or whatever. It's so fun. It's a fun movie. It really is. But it's also it's like a drama, not a comedy, but it's a drama that's just like a fun story to be a part of. And if 10% of that story is real, that's fucking incredible. Like it's amazing to think how much bullshit took place to bring a video game to the United States of America.
I don't want to give anything away because there's certain surprises that happen. Right. There's something that's revealed to, and it's like you're like, oh, this is so cool. I don't know. Like there's certain moments that kind of surprise you. So it was a fun movie to watch.
Fun fact.
Mhm.
What's his name? What's the I say the bad guy. I mean, you can count all of Russia in this particular movie, but the bad guy, the guy who ran the
Maxwell.
the father and son.
Yeah, and then there was like his son was
Ghislaine
Frank.
Maxwell's family. Like
Who?
Ghislaine Maxwell from the whole like what's her name? The groomer.
Fucker Island.
Yeah. Holy shit, huh?
That's Ghislaine Maxwell is the brother / daughter of that fucking guy from the movie.
Weird. Okay,
Yes.
that is so fucking. Oh man. Okay, that's an interesting connection.
Wow.
She has no part in the movie whatsoever. So
yeah,
no
Nick, did
spoilers
you
there,
see the
but,
movie?
Like, it's the same family.
I did not. It's on my list.
She didn't do the cast. She didn't do the casting.
No.
Well, anyway, I don't want to spoil it. Although it is really cool to just watch how the story of Tetris unfolds. So,
Yep.
And
It's on what show's it on?
it's on Apple.
Apple
Plus.
Okay.
So
I did want to say though, I did have a complaint about Alamo Drafthouse. Is I ordered a Sprite, didn't get the Sprite, and at the bill I said, who cares? Was it $2 or $3? It was $6. So we went.
Well, I mean, ordering a Sprite at the Draft House is kind of like ordering a pork chop at a steakhouse, don't you think?
Well, I wasn't hungry. I wasn't thirsty. I just was like, okay, I got some popcorn. I could just give me a Sprite. I didn't know that the drinks were so. I've never looked at the bill before. I go $6.
Did you get a drink or not, though? Did they give you a beverage?
Jack doesn't look at the bill because you know why? You know why he doesn't look at the bill? Because he drives a fucking Lexus.
No, I just go whatever it is, you know. Anyway, so it's like $6 for a Sprite though. So what we did, so Cindy goes, I'm gonna get this off. I'm taking this off. Wow. $6 for a Sprite. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
We went to the movie theater a couple weeks ago, and it was just like, oh, I'll just get a medium, and the medium was like so huge. It was like that Parks and Rec joke when they're like, it's a kid's size, but it's like a big jumbo.
Is it bigger or smaller than Hayden Christensen's dildo?
I think the gauge is much bigger than what I had in mind, but whatever you want to take. I was thinking that like a lightsaber themed dildo, if you could get one of those.
I'm sure it's out there.
Have you guys watched Poker Face?
Give me 5 seconds. I'll find one.
I'm trying to remember the quote that from Attack of the Clones when he's talking about like, oh, I know everything that's going on in there or something.
I guess my grandkids did
watch
my grandkids did watch.
I can feel everything inside that room or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would be another good one for dildo quotes.
I can sense everything in that room, Master.
Yeah.
Oh, he's such a fucking douche in that movie. Fuck. I'm glad he got fucking burned.
Okay, sorry, Jack. Sorry, Jack. You had. He's just like he's somehow pissed that it's like back to Star Wars.
No, I'm watching the Padre game on.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
no,
stick with your baseball.
I did want to find out something I heard. I haven't tested the theory yet, though. But apparently, someone found a cheat code or a bug, whatever you call it, in the original Super Mario Brothers game, which no one has discovered until this moment. Which is, when you would die, all 3 lives, it would take you back to level 1, world 1, level 1. Yeah. But they said that apparently when you die, you hit start A, and it takes you to the beginning of the current world that you're in, not all the way to the original beginning.
I saw that too.
I was like, no fucking way. So I haven't tested it yet. But I was like,
there's one of those TikTok pages like it took me 40 years to figure this out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's kind of like the hack with Duck Hunt, right?
Mm-hmm. Where you could move,
plug in the second controller, you can control the duck.
Yeah,
brilliant.
But yeah, so I mean the Tetris movie, like for me, there's some like real childhood nostalgia there. Because I remember getting a Game Boy, the original OG Game Boy, and that was like a life changing moment for me. And looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, why the fuck was this weird game that no one ever heard of before, Tetris, included in the Game Boy? Why wasn't it all like Mario based stuff? But no,
I was going to say,
it was yesterday.
You just remind me of something. Go ahead.
I think I told you guys that like it's either this past Christmas or the one before. Might have been this past one, but I found my old Game Boy, and I had forgotten that those were not backlit, and I've got it plugged up in the battery. And I was like, why can I not see this shit? And I'm like, oh, right. You just forget that old technology that you had to have the little clip attachment that had the little magnifying glass
and then they had
on it for you to see. And
they had the magnifying thing, and then the light.
There's an interesting line in Tetris when they're talking about because they introduce him to the Game Boy. Like you're one of 5 people. This isn't the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. It's like you're one of 5 people in the world that knows this thing exists, right? And they bring him to this room where that's signed an NDA, and they're showing him the Game Boy. And he's like, "Well, why didn't you make it in color?"
Right.
And I thought this is really interesting. And the response from the engineer is like, "Well, it would have made us need to use 6 batteries. We only wanted to use 4."
Right. I thought it was 8.
Shit.
I thought it was almost double.
Something like that. But I was like, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back then you could just throw the batteries away. You didn't have to worry about
I never used the 4 batteries in the back because they sold a big ass external battery that you could plug inside of it. That's what I always used. Yeah.
Well, my brother, he was the one that he I was just a little.
Your brother just throws the batteries away, doesn't he?
No. But he had a Game Boy, and he had all of the accoutrements with it. And I would play it from time to time, but I was just slightly older than getting the Game Boy. So,
see, the Game Boy for me was like, this is gonna sound cheesy for me to say this, but like the Game Boy was that singular gift that I got as a kid that I distinctly remember wanting so badly. Like it was like
I wanted just peace. I wanted peace throughout the world, but that's okay.
It was the object of like the only thing in the world that I wanted. I wanted this thing more than fucking anything. And I'll never forget opening it up on Christmas Day and like losing my shit. Right? Like just pure joy and elation that I got this gift.
And then your dad was pissed because he had to clean up all the shit.
Yeah, true. But the thing is, I remember.
You know what that cost me?
I remember as a kid, like my mentality around it. Even after when I received the gift, I would often have to remind myself, I got the Game Boy. Like I can't believe I got the Game Boy. And that theme of me reminding myself that, oh man, I can't believe it's so cool I got that Game Boy, stayed with me for years. And I still think about it now. Like, oh man, I got the Game Boy back in 1980, whatever the fuck it was. But it's just, was it 80?
Was it 84?
No, 88 or 89.
It's like 89.
Well, how old were you guys in 84?
I was 4.
84. I was 7.
7? Okay, then that might not mean anything to you because the start of the movie.
84? No, I was 8.
Start of the movie Air.
Yeah.
They show all the cool gadgets that came out in 1984. The little football games and all that I had, and those little things. Yep. And you had the stupid air thing with it was in the water where you had to push the air. They showed all these cool. I go, I had that. Oh, I had that. Never had a Game Boy because nobody cared about me. But it just, I had all the other stuff. It was just cool.
Yeah, so I was watching TikTok.
The Walkmans and all the other stuff.
Well, I mean, that would have been 5 years after then. So 84 to 80. So that would have been 5 years beyond that. So.
Padres went to the World Series for the first time. You had Ghostbusters came out in 84.
Mm.
Like my For You page on TikTok, it has a lot of 80s stuff on it too. And they show these 80s clips. And I remember today I was watching one and it was like, who remembers this clip? And I'm like, oh my fucking God. I remember this clip. And it was this guy who was in a pool behind a dude who was sunbathing, was bald. No offense, Jack. But
of course. And he was evil.
He paints the number 8 on the guy's bald head.
Oh yeah.
Sesame Street.
I'm like, holy fuck, I remember
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
I remember that. And he got into a fight with a guy on Sesame Street. But I'm watching, I'm like, I know exactly what happens here. This is crazy to me. I probably haven't seen that video in 35, 40 years.
That's where
we all know it. Sesame Street. Because the guy, you ever see the show The Jeffersons?
Yeah.
The next door neighbor was on Sesame Street. Wasn't he the numbers guy? Wasn't he the guy going around painting?
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And now Roy Kent is on Sesame Street. Wow. Yeah. Wild what the world comes to.
Fuck off.
I loved his story.
He interviewed Oscar the Grouch, actually, which is kind of funny.
I was going to say to go to Elmo. Fuck off, Elmo.
I think he should beat someone with a rope on Sesame Street.
The letters of the day are F and U.
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not like... And then, of course, you had the Ladybug 12. If I hear that song, I will be singing it all day.
Oh, the one for me was the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Ladybug 12, Ladybug
11, 12.
Jack's singing a different one. Chris, that's the jam.
Yes.
The pinball one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
No, Ladybug 12. Ladybug
It had this like ball that was going through a pinball thing and lit up.
Yeah, I remember.
That was
Or the little girl had to
shit.
go to the store, and you go to the store, get a gallon of milk, a stick of butter, and a loaf of bread.
Well, now it's all like computer animated, right? Sesame Street.
Yeah.
See,
They fucking ruined it.
and what about the crayon? You know, like they would show you like the birth of a crayon. You know, that was like
No, that
like-
was that what you're referring to
Yeah.
is my all-time favorite episode of not Roy Rogers, Mr.
Mr.
Rogers'
Rogers.
Neighborhood. Because
Yes.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood opened up his closet door one day. He's like, "Come
Mhm.
with me on an adventure, little boys and girls." And he goes to the
Come with me, boys
Crayola
and
crayon
girls.
factory, and it
I
was
s-
like the
I
best
swear-
fucking thing ever. Which is why I have an affinity of watching How It's Made, because that was like the first iteration of How It's Made. Was they brought you to the
I
crayon factory.
swear they used, or like Sesame Street was like, hey, we'll just use that, Mr. Rogers. Because I swear I've seen the crayon making on. So
Matt Treese, a couple comments up. Yes, that's awesome. I did
Huh.
not know that.
yeah.
But he said that I learned the pinball song that I was singing earlier was actually sung by the Pointer Sisters. Interesting.
Sure, like
Rock was
Schoolhouse
awesome.
Rock. Yes, I mean, yeah, those are. I learned a lot.
Electric Company,
Like Mr.
Electric
Robinson's
Company.
Neighborhood.
Square One TV. Remember
Yeah.
them? Man,
We used to have a
Math
show. I forget the show, but it was like I was actually singing today. Exercise, exercise. Come on, everybody, do your exercise. It was a kids show where they would just do. They just did different things. That the exercise you had to get up and do the exercises they were doing.
Mm.
So that was what I had as a kid.
they realized
So,
kids are getting fat.
Yeah, no, we weren't
Get
fat
up,
then. We
stand up.
played outside.
Stand up for your rights.
Randy says Zoom. I think that was Zoom. I think it was. Yeah, cool shows.
I'm telling
we
you,
had
man,
back
80s
then.
were so much better
The
than today.
We're the Bloodhound Gang.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that was on. I think that was on 321 Contact.
321 Contact was amazing.
Contact. It's the
It's
answer.
the answer. It's the meaning. Dun, dun, dun,
I know,
You
I used
ever
to-
want to like just start your day off with just like a shot of adrenaline from your childhood?
I remember I got
Yeah.
fucked up one day watching that. They were dissected like a cow's eyeball. And it freaked me
Whoa.
the fuck out. I was like, this is weird shit.
But hey,
That's what's-
don't let my kids know about transsexuals.
Oh, but how about the episode of Math?
Sorry.
Remember MathNet, right? Remember MathNet? Like it was on. It was like one of the shows on 321 Contact or whatever it was. But there's one where like this hostage was like strapped to a fucking dynamite vest, and they had to like solve the equation to save them. And I was like, this is fucked up. Like
They were preparing us. They were like, we don't know what the world's gonna be like beyond 2000.
That's right.
Or
These
maybe
kids,
they're the ones that put the C in the head.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
nice. I don't remember that.
Anyways.
I was an adult then, so well, legally, I guess.
you were
Yeah.
adulting.
Yeah, I was adulting.
and we survived
I mean-
that shit.
That's what I mean. Like I know we've talked about this before, but I mean, there's a reason why everyone born between 1972 and 86 are dark as fuck people.
Yeah.
It's because
We've
everything
been through
we
some
watched.
shit.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, like again, did you do duck and cover?
Yes.
Yes, I did duck
Yeah.
and cover. I remember distinctively doing duck and cover in like kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah, it was. I mean, because back then, back in the '60s, we were all going to die. The Russians
Yeah.
were going to blow us up unless we hid under our desk.
We were all
So-
still alive. We were alive during the Cold War. The end of it.
Yeah.
We were still alive. Yeah.
Funny you mentioned like because I actually went home for Easter this year and visit my mom and and drove by one of my schools I went to as a kid, and like I remember, this is the school in which I was in the cafeteria when they wheeled in the TV on the AV cart, and we all watched the Challenger explode. Like that was where I was when it happened, and I remember that school very vividly as a kid. I remember like being given like visors to go watch like the solar eclipse in 1986, wherever it was, right? Like all this type of shit, and then I drive by it this past weekend. And I'm like, holy shit, that school was fucking small.
Yeah,
right.
And like it's just so weird because I as a kid I remember it as being this
It's
like
so huge,
huge world in which we were like learning in, going to
That's what
different
she said.
classrooms and all this stuff. And I drove by it today, the other weekend with my kids in the car. I'm like, look, this is the small fucking school I went to when I was your age.
just imagine your daughter just being like, Dad went to a trashy school.
Yeah,
Like,
for
it's
sure,
just-
for sure.
That's how my kids
Wow, man. It's wild. It's just wild to think
John,
about.
the lead paint in the old school desk would prevent us from nuclear bomb. It
that's
would.
right.
It's true. It's true.
Work for Indy.
Well, it's funny. My elementary school and junior highs, because it was junior high when I was in school, are no longer schools. They're private things. Because the people in that area are all old now, and they didn't move because they're under Prop
The
13, where the property tax doesn't go up. So that people like my mom, why move when the property tax is the same as it was back in 1970?
Yeah, why would you? That would be.
Sometimes I kind of like,
because it's like $7,000 now or $8,000, where it's like a couple hundred.
Sometimes I like that method of property. I mean, I don't like taxes, period, but like so there's some states that do that to where it's like, you bought your house for say $50,000 forever ago. You're locked in at that property tax for as long as you own that property. So you just encourage you to stay there. But of course, the next person that buys it, has to pay the current property tax.
But what's funny is when when the value of the houses go down, they don't lower the tax.
No, they don't. Well,
once it reaches a certain, you reached a certain level on your house. I go, well, the house went down in value.
Dude, I've gotten so many escrow notices being like, yeah, you're gonna pay more now. Your mortgage payment is gonna go up $200 a year, a month because of taxes. I'm like,
well, every year they under our mortgage company, they said, oh, we didn't take enough for escrow.
Yeah,
right.
I go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Just
They get. Here's your options. You can either give us, $1,700 now, or we can just increase your mortgage by $174.
How about you just fuck off,
right,
dickheads?
It's happened to me every year I've owned a house.
I can't wait to pay it off, fuckers.
Every year that I've owned a house, I've gotten the notification being like, your mortgage is going up. Sorry, fucker. God damn it.
Will Fry says, Jack, my wife's mom's elementary school is now the Nashville Scientology Church.
Wow. Well,
yeah, my elementary school is Han Christian Anderson, and it's I don't know what it is now. And it was Mildred Hale Junior High, and it's some kind of Christian school. I don't know.
I went to like 5 different schools.
The thing is the land. It's. You said your school is small in California. They're open. They're not. They're not up. They're open. I mean, they're just wide open. There must be that land alone must be worth millions because of it's in California. I mean, but
yeah, I wonder how with school security stuff these days, like all the California, because every California school that I passed, exactly, they were wide and they're open, and all the doors are on the outsides of the buildings. And you're like, well, that shit's gonna have to change.
How do you keep that secure? Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you keep it secure?
The school that I went to growing up, my elementary school, it was known as NRA. So I'm not joking. That was like,
you're serious? Okay,
that was the initials.
You were joking.
of our elementary school. It was North Richland Adams, but everybody just called it NRA. Like, you're at NRA, So
conditioning you at a young age.
Did you guys have 6th grade camp back in the day? Is that just a California thing?
No, I think 6th grade I was in Washington. I do remember going to camp in 6th grade.
What do you mean by camp, Jack? You mean like
we went to the local mountains in San Diego. We went to either went to Camp Marson, Cuyamaca. I went to Camp Marson.
You're just
and
making it worse.
they had little cabins, and you went with different schools, and you went for a week.
Yeah, our school we didn't have that. It wasn't affiliated with the actual school system, but like the YMCA used to have camps. Like that was like a big deal, and they had called Camp Bivouac, which was I think is a loose translation to like overnight camp. I think that's what it means. But is it the camp? It wasn't. Yeah, it was interesting. Like we didn't have like sleepaway camps really. I was a camp counselor back in my younger days.
Oh,
I can't sleep, Chris. Counselor Chris.
No, it wasn't overnight camp. That was a camp at. So before you make too much fun of it, I was actually a camp counselor at a camp for kids with disabilities from ages
way to make fun of
2 to 21.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel like shit.
You should. You're being an asshole, really. But no,
I'm not the one to talk about Star Wars for 30 minutes.
So
that was
peel back the curtain a little bit. That was actually the impetus for my initial college career was I was supposed to be a special ed teacher, but I didn't end up.
My daughter is.
Yeah. I didn't understand the course.
He doesn't
care.
That
was kind of like the introduce for it.
I just flew right over it, didn't he?
He did.
Just said, fuck it.
No, you mentioned it before, and I was in the middle of a story, and you fucking interrupted me. Like you normally do, so I kept going.
Hold on a second. I've been quiet for like half this time.
Except when I talk.
All right, go ahead and finish your story.
And you muted yourself. Oh, or Jack muted you. Yeah. That's funny.
That was an accident. I'm sorry.
Go ahead and continue. Mute.
Go ahead.
No, I'm done now.
No, go ahead. I was just kidding.
No, that was the end of my story for real. Like I was.
Oh.
That was it.
Yeah, like
then why'd you make such a big deal about it?
Camp Anawana. I remember Camp Anawana. It's always in my heart.
We didn't have camps.
About you.
I mean, I was in Cub Scouts.
Well, you were in Tennessee.
Yeah, I had Boy Scouts and then 4-H club, things like that. That's how we went to camps. But
right,
we never
You're in
had
Tennessee. We know they give you just like this book and a gun, and they're like, "You're good, kid."
Actually, you guys in Tennessee, you went
no,
to
they
the
didn't
city.
give books.
You went to the city.
No, he got the
You had to go to the city and say, "This is how the other half lives."
Pretty much, yeah.
I know.
I was talking about that state book.
I know it was in 7. I was 7 years old. We were in Indian Guides. I know they don't have that anymore because it's not politically correct. But back then, and I had to go to the bathroom. I had to poop, and we're driving up there. And my dad goes. I go to my dad. I said, "Hey," I go, "Where do you poop at?" He goes, "Just behind a bush and use some leaves." Well, he's just fucking with me. But I went there and I went behind it, and someone goes, "Hey, your son over there is taking his shit." He goes, "Ah, damn it."
That's my boy.
And I use some leaves. So is it my fault that I'm 7 and my dad, who I'm supposed to, I look up to, goes,
he's wiping his ass with poison ivy.
It really just totally makes sense though too, because I mean I've heard about some of your No, you're good. You're good. Just how you be a grandpa, like there's just like certain things that you do, and
it's not my fault.
It's baked in.
Yeah, that's how I was raised.
It's how you.
Someone tells me go behind a bush and use some leaves at 7. I'm going to listen to them, right? Especially if it's my parent, my dad.
And I imagine you doing that to one of your grandchildren at some point.
Oh, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't do that because it'd be embarrassing. I would not do that to them.
You would just train them to do it when you're not around.
No, seriously, I wouldn't do that. No.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't do anything where they get picked on.
One of my son's favorite things to do is to piss outside. Like he loves going outside to pee.
He likes to publicly expose himself.
Yeah. Well, at least in the backyard. But it all kind of started because of the we like to have people over and have fires out in the backyard, and we do like fires in the camp, the solar stove, whatever. So we'll all be outside hanging out, drinking, whatever. And no one wants to go inside in the bathroom. So he saw me go over and pee by the shed once. He goes, "I can do that." So he's like, "I want to be outside, Dad. I want to be outside." Like, all right, buddy, let's go. Go ahead. Not get anything on the seat that way.
I think Zach did that. We were at Balboa Park, which is by the San Diego Zoo, waiting to go on some of the merry-go-round stuff like that. And all of a sudden he goes, I have to pee. So I just went out. He didn't go behind a tree. He just went out in the open and peed. I go, okay.
That's good.
Oh, hey, look.
Grandfather teaches right there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Good parenting. Grandparenting.
There's a meetup next month. I'm noticing in the chat.
The Raleigh meetup. That's what they mean.
The Raleigh meetup.
Oh, good
Yeah,
to know.
I haven't seen anyone post dates until right now at the moment.
Yeah, I guess I'm not going to be there.
I'll be there, I guess.
You'll be there in spirit.
I don't have a choice.
It's like a month away.
Oh, yeah. Show up for your steak and then you leave.
Pork chop.
Actually, we go to an Italian restaurant.
Pork chop and a Sprite.
Actually, I get a drink when I go to get the pork chop. No, I get they have this Italian restaurant. Did you guys ever come out with it? We go to the Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Queso Carbone. Yeah, you've done it.
Yeah.
I get the.
Did you just call it? I'm sorry. Did you say queso carbone?
Queso Carbone, whatever it is called.
Casa.
I think it's queso. I think it's queso. It's queso Carbone. I don't know what this fucking is. I just go there and eat. Hey, look, RACD. Come on, someone
It's
back
almost
here,
as bad as when I
Is it
said
queso
Mindstrone.
There was one of those like BuzzFeed articles that I like walked into the other day that was just like people mispronouncing certain things and misconceptions of things and there was a whole texting thread of somebody. They were confused as to the word eggs Benedict, and they had spelled it out eggs -Ben-A-Dick. Like
Nice.
eggs
Benedict. I mean,
Eggs
yeah.
Benedict. Yeah.
eggs Benedict. And I still laugh about that. Like
That's funny.
Yeah, eggs
Nick
Benedict.
is pronouncing it right, so I'm wrong. Sherry, is what you're saying. I'm not changing. I fuck it.
It's casa, as in house.
I get it, but that's
You
Italian?
bone in the house.
Mi casa, su casa.
Suitcase? I don't know. I'm still saying what I want to say. I don't care.
It's queso.
I don't care.
Queso.
Queso.
I
Queso.
don't care. I don't care.
RACD.
Racked.
It sounds like a really bad stock, and with this money and the 205, it's like we'll get you your money back, guarantee.
We do need to belly up at the corner of a bar and just do this live someday, though. We got to make that happen. I think the last time we went to a bar together, someone was getting hit on by a dude at in Raleigh.
Someone was
Remember
getting
that?
punched.
Who was?
I wasn't there.
There was somebody. Where were we?
Oh,
We
was
were
it
at a bar.
JP?
Yes, it was.
I remember the story.
Yeah.
JP was getting hit on by this dude, and it was wild. Like he was just full court pressing JP, and it was actually fucking fun to watch because JP squirmed. He could. He's like, I don't know what to do.
Because
But
usually
we
JP is
should-
not a loss for words, but
Yeah, like we gotta figure out how to do this live at a bar.
I would
with
agree.
Booze and weed.
We just have to find
Who's
the
in
closest triangulation point between Jack, Chris, and I, and then Nick can just fly there.
Well, I mean, if you want to find the closest point between all four of us, that would
Probably St.
likely
Louis.
be
Kansas
or Canada.
Canada.
It's going to
We
be
just go
somewhere
all
around St. Louis, Chicago would be.
How's it Canada when I'm down here in North Carolina? How's it Canada?
Cincinnati, probably somewhere in there.
Cincinnati's really close to me. I feel like it's a cheat.
Or we go down to Tennessee when Nick comes to Tennessee.
To Tennessee, like
Let's
at
go to
Christmas
Vegas.
time.
That's the central
Vegas
point,
would be
right?
fun. Now, okay, we did a married
West
man show in
Virginia
Vegas.
live show, says Mike.
That'd be
West Virginia.
I'm pretty sure we did the
Mama.
first drunk podcast back in the day, the Married Man Show, and we brought
Vegas. I remember that.
we had like 30 people. We didn't even know how crowded into our room.
I remember that.
We were so fucking drunk. I don't even remember the show, but it was like we were wasted. Some people loved it, some people didn't, because everyone was talking. I'm like going, fuck it. innovators. That's what we were.
So meet up a few miles outside of Raleigh. That's actually pretty slick. Well played. Just outside.
We can go to
Just
we go to Durham Bolt. We're going to Durham Bolts game again, so that'd be fun. No, okay.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner's going to be there. So.
Oh, really?
No,
Yeah.
sign me up. That is, yeah. Didn't Jay passed out? That was very nicely said. Didn't Jay fall asleep in the bathtub? No, Jay blacked out in the bathtub.
That was not the time where Jay almost drowned in the bathtub. No.
Without water.
No, there was water.
Was there?
It was overflowing because I walked into the room and I go squish squish. I go, what the fuck? He's laying in the bathtub with a shower curtain around him, holding on like this, going, and he's got throw up everywhere. I'm like going, oh my god. So he threw up. I go, how do you get it that high up the wall? What the fuck? The bedspread had throw up all over it. The floor. I spent like hours cleaning it up, and we had a balcony, and I just put all the stuff in a big bag on the balcony.
I would put him out there too.
Yeah, I said, oh my god, you're fucked up. He could have drowned. I mean, luckily, I went upstairs. Luckily, I was losing. If I was winning, he'd be dead. But you can't have it all.
Yeah. Last time that happened to me, a friend of mine had just bought a brand new house, and it was his first guest ever, and all he had in the guest room was just a bed. And we went and got hammered, and I'm asleep. And somewhere around 3, 4 in the morning, I wake up and. Yeah, I got a puke, but it's pitch black. I can't see shit. I have no idea where I'm at. I'm just spinning for me so drunk. Can't find the light switch. The only thing I find is what I think is a door. And I go and just throw up all inside his closet. And then I just, I go back to sleep because I'm just hammered, And then the next day I wake up and I'm looking around. I was like, did I throw up last night? But there's nothing on the floor. There's nothing on the bed. There's nothing on the walls. I'm like, maybe I dreamt it, So I actually tell my friend this story. I'm like, hey, I think I had a dream where I thought I threw up, but I guess I didn't, and like 2 weeks later, he calls me, well, found it. Like,
yeah.
It's just awesome. all over the wall inside the closet, all like a big puddle.
Nice.
Just like, yeah. Like,
I have not had one of those nights in probably 20 years, which is a good thing.
Oh, this is a while. This is probably like 08, 09. Yeah, it's been a while.
But
I haven't had one since the Chargers were playing in San Diego.
I have gotten. I'm going to be honest with you. Like in the last since the pandemic, right? So for the last 3 years,
since you beat up that guy at Foxborough.
That's before the pandemic. So since the pandemic, I can honestly probably count on one hand how many times I've actually been drunk. Like, I don't drink anymore. I mean, I drink. Yeah. I had a glass of wine.
I only drink to excess.
I don't. I had a glass of wine, but I will be honest. This is again, you've heard me say this time and time again. This is a plug. If you haven't gotten this, is legalized in your state.
Right.
These things are fucking awesome.
Really? What are those things? Strawberry what?
You found some good gummies.
These here.
Strawberry.
Where are they?
I can't see it. It's just all strawberry.
Margarita.
Oh,
Margarita.
I see. What's the number?
It's the lime. I can't see.
It's 10 milligrams.
Oh, 10.
It's CBD and THC 1-to-1.
Okay.
So it's a blend.
So last time I was really fucked up was Drake the Destroyer.
Personally for me, like the CBD can kind of mess with me. I know
CBD messes with you?
Yeah, like my muscles. I feel it in my muscles more.
Oh.
And not in a good way.
See, I only take half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have weird dreams anyway. And when I take that stuff, I mean, I'm in a different planet.
I'm in a different realm.
And no, I have the weirdest fucking dreams.
He's like Doctor
anyway.
Strange in another.
Mine are like movies.
Are you in a galaxy far, far away?
I am in a galaxy far, far away.
But Chris,
don't
to
want to
your
talk
point,
about it.
to your point, like you and I are very similar in that manner. You know, it's like I don't.
Yeah,
really,
like like I mean,
don't
I'll
really
I'll have a drink
ever-
every once in a while.
Mhm.
Like I came down here with a glass of wine, right, and the glass of wine's gone. But
I don't like
I'm not
wine.
going up to go get wasted and drinking wine. Like these things here have, like, for me, like I didn't want to drink at home alone. Like I didn't want to sit in my house and drink.
I drink alone.
But these things have really been like a significant like positive impact on my leisurely activities. Like
And-
I look at
and
I look at
I wish
people
I
know.
wish Biden would say, "Hey, we're going to make it legal."
Yeah.
I mean, just fucking
Yeah.
make it legal.
Because here's the other thing
Dickhead.
too.
He won't remember.
If
No, for our
Jen-
soda company,
it-
can never allow that.
it is
True, what?
a thing that comes with, like, for me at least, I always have like a peaceful, easy feeling, like the Eagles, you know. Like, but no, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I have that kind of like a good euphoric kind of like, hey, everything's all right. Maybe the world won't end in a fiery ball of melted shit. Okay.
Or if it does, I'm gonna feel all right when it happens. Like
I won't even remember. I won't even remember.
Matt
Hey.
Tree says, "Gotta get ready for next week." Referencing, I'm presuming, 420.
All right.
But
Oh.
yeah,
I didn't get
everything
it.
everything is on sale
Ooh.
next week. That's the best part. Dude, I'm telling you, like, if you haven't gotten it in your state legalized, like, go out there and vote and make it happen, because it's such a positive thing.
Yeah, I'm in Tobacco Row. That's gonna happen.
They're taking away rights in my state, so I'm shit out
true.
of luck. So I keep thinking, like, what other states can I live in?
They don't have it in Indiana.
And I don't even
No.
smoke. That's the thing. I think people
Right.
really think, it's like, oh, you're all fucking smoking weed every day. I'm like, no, I actually don't smoke. I showed you the bag of weed I've had in my thing for literally a fucking year.
I
and a
told
half.
you that I tried smoke for the back pain.
Mm.
It was I was actually throwing up from the weed. I was like, I couldn't. It was so strong. I go,
Right.
Yeah.
this
It
isn't your '80s weed.
Right.
Well, and I think that's the other thing too. When you do smoke, you know, the high kind of comes in more like a roller coaster. Like, okay, and now we're, you know, whereas if you're doing an edible, it's more kind of it's spread out over the course of it, and you might have a peak, but it's more in the middle, and it's more plateaued, and it's not like it's not like
Yeah, and these specifically, I don't know what they put into it. It's called some type of Azuka
Fentanyl.
UCA time infusion. So the onboarding of this takes like 5 to 15 minutes until you actually start feeling the effects. It's actually very, very quick.
Pretty quick. Yeah.
But it only lasts about 4 hours. So it's like, it's perfect. Come home.
That's
from
pretty.
work,
Yeah.
come in, eat one of these before I go do a show, and then like by the
But
time
you
I
eat
go
the
to
whole.
bed, I'm
You eat the
feeling
whole.
all right.
Like I said, for me, I can only eat like half.
Oh no, I eat the whole
like,
thing.
I'm like.
But don't forget, at the same time, like I'm not trying to toot horns here, but like yeah, I've been doing this regularly since the pandemic. So like if you think about probably 350 days of the year, I'm consuming something, and it's just like my nighttime like routine.
Yeah.
Like
It's
just part of my
I'll be
day.
honest with you. I sleep unless I take too much,
Mhm.
because then I'm like, and my mind's going. I go, am I going to die? Am I going to die? Am I breathing? I'm not breathing. I get really paranoid, and it's just like, I'm not breathing. Am I
think
breathing? I'm not
I think it-
breathing.
I think it helps quiet or ease the part of my mind that thinks, am I gonna die? Are we all gonna die?
Right.
Sorry.
See, I start thinking I'm going to die.
Oh, yeah.
If I take too much,
not.
if I get the right dose, I go.
Mm. That's what my art's for.
Because it shuts my mind off until I go to sleep. Then it's like,
Sure.
But yeah.
Well,
weed.
I've been doodling tonight. I got this doodle
Oh,
right
that's
here.
nice.
Been a while
So,
since you've
That,
doodled.
that's very 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
It's upside down.
Polish.
That's this one right here.
Nice.
I like that.
So
That's cool.
Nice work.
I'm.
Is this going to be on the show? Your
It's
YouTube channel?
Oh no, because I don't have my whole setup
Okay.
like where I did a time lapse or anything like that. So that's in a different part of my basement.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just-
It's thanks. I've had a little bit more time to make art, which has been nice.
That's good.
Because my classes were kind of coming into the final home stretch of teaching for me. So frees up some of my time.
This week has been a trying. We've had grandkids all week, so it's like, and they don't leave, so but they've been good. Not the. It's just. And then tomorrow we have all 4, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
It was
So there'll be
89 degrees here today.
Jeez, it got up to 80 here. So
yeah, it's so the weather. Was it earlier this week? I was fucking freezing. It was like 49 degrees was a high. I'm like, going, what the? And then 2 days later,
that's
it's
not
80.
freezing.
Well,
My air conditioner turned on today.
When you're in San Diego, I'm from San Diego. That's freezing. That's cold. But no, it just doesn't say the same. It's just like it's 85, it's 40, it's
Right.
There's a freeze warning. I go, well, Flowers, either you make it or you don't. I'm sorry,
Good
I'm
luck.
not gonna keep going out there and covering you up because 2 days later it's gonna be too hot for you. I fuck off. Fuck off.
We're on a fire watch here because of how dry it's been, and like, yeah, it's dangerous. But we're getting some rain this weekend, hopefully.
Women and gummies first. We had a fire. Those townhomes they built by us. 2 of them caught on fire the other day. It was like all the. I keep.
They shouldn't have driven over your mailbox, dude.
I know. Pissed me off.
Told them twice.
Yep, I told them 3 times. 3 times a lady.
You should probably take another commercial break.
All right, I have to do it because I'm the producer.
Oh,
At this time, we're going to take a commercial break.
I'd like to introduce you to a commercial break. Are there really even commercials at those commercial breaks? Let us know.
No one even knows.
We don't know.
Well,
You
nobody's
tell
listening.
us, the listeners.
apparently
Send
this
us your
week,
email at rcadcast@gmail.com. Do we have
an
emails?
email? We have an
Oh.
email.
There,
good.
see, it was a setup. What a transition.
It's kind of grumpy, but
Ooh, what you got there, Chris?
the title is Y&T. Hey Nick, Chris, Jack, and the other guy. Oh, I mean Matt.
Oof.
Just writing to tell you, I took Kim to her first Y&T concert last Saturday, and she loved it.
Oh, Y&T. This is a reference joke.
Young and the
Story.
Great concert from a band that's been around for 50 years. Previously, the RCAD or the RACD hosts.
Did he really put that on there?
No, I just.
Oh, okay.
Had said that they would give them a listen, but apparently none of them did.
Still haven't.
Actually, I did when I read this email yesterday. I did listen to a little bit of them on iTunes. And if you want what you think of 80s hair punk metal band, that's what it is. But I expect. So apparently none of them. I expect that from Jack and Matt. But come on, Nick and Chris, I expect more from you too. So
It's fair.
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
So harsh.
I take full blame.
Anyways, I expect Matt to already be shitting on this email.
Jesus.
But do yourself a favor and listen to Mean Street and go from there. Wrap this episode up now. We have other things to watch
great.
tonight. Roll credits. John, the grumpy retired guy.
Like Mean Street by Van Halen.
I guess that's the name of the record, or maybe the song. I don't know. But it's just
Y&T.
Y&T.
Artist.
Yeah.
We did have a message on our YouTube channel
Oh yeah. We'll get this in over there.
from Maxwell. It says, "I want Jack to become a great grandparent. He brings me great joy in life. Perhaps he can offer more crackpot theories like, will Goat Boy think the next episode of Mando sucks? Sorry, Matt, you're still a fan favorite with a bullet."
Oh.
And then it said, Maxwell says, "Keep up the excellent work in podcasting, gentlemen."
Wow. We haven't had a goat joke in a minute.
I know.
Yeah, because they were
in fact,
never
I-
goats.
I-
It was sheep. You fucking imbeciles.
Someone in the chat made a goat joke earlier.
Actually, when I heard Goat Boy, I was thinking that who's that guy?
Saturday Night Live?
Saturday Night Live.
Jim
Yeah.
Brewer.
Jim Brewer. Yeah, go for it. Was great.
Someone made a Gretchen joke earlier in the chat.
I
Yeah.
didn't see it.
Where let me find it.
That
Get
might be
wrapped. Get wrapped.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so if Gretchen were on the Mandalorian, her name would be the Mandalorian.
Yeah, it might make the show better. I like the Mandalorian. I just haven't watched this season yet. That's why I was kind of in and out because I haven't watched it yet.
Y&T. All right, I'm gonna give it a shot live. Mean Streak by Y&T. Bonus track version. It's not coming through this show, but I'm listening to it. That's some good lead guitar.
It's very 80s.
80s. What's wrong with the 80s?
Sounds like it could be like Skid Row.
Nothing. It's just like, it's just like, how every kind of decade or it has its sound. And like to me, when I listened to a few of their tracks yesterday, I was like, oh, this is 80s. When I think 80s, that's the sound I think of.
Sounds like Sammy Hagar.
You Can't Drive 55?
I've listened to
Okay,
Y&T.
all right. Who is better, Sammy Hagar
David Lee
or
Roth.
David Lee Roth?
There's no way to answer that question.
Yeah, it's David Lee Roth.
I liked them both.
I did as well. I think
It's probably because of Eddie Van Halen. The guitar work is so great that
It's amazing. Like the early days, you have they're more eager, they're ready to prove themselves. The guitar works so good. When you get to the Van Hagar, it's more synthesizers and organs, and all. It's a different band.
But that was so good still though. Like
it's still good.
Yes, it was synthesizers and organs and so forth.
And they don't get along. Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth do not
hate
get
each
along.
other.
Yeah.
But the music was so fucking iconic.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean it's not like some groups where they change the lead singer, and it's like, nah, it's like okay, it's like you said, it's different, but it's still really good.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
There's some unbelievable smash hits, but with Van Halen, and there's unbelievably great music with Van Hagar. Like it's a situation.
Well, I like Sammy Hagar, but I also like David Lee Roth. So it's like,
yeah. Anyway,
just throwing that out there. Anything else you guys got?
No, I got nothing.
Now Matt's ready to leave.
We've been done. I mean, you read the email.
It's true.
Shit on me. We read the message. Shit on me.
No one shit on you, Matt.
Okay.
Who shit on you?
We didn't shit on you.
We
Sure.
did not shit on you, Matt.
Fair.
Still fan favorite.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but
Always.
It's not a fucking goat. So
Be honest, I was thinking Jim Brewer. I couldn't remember his name.
sheeple.
Anyway, if you'd like to be a patron, go to janejack.com, click on the thing. I'm sorry. I was reading the chat.
yeah, we lost Jack for a moment.
I started reading the chat. I'm sorry. But this time we'd like to thank all our patrons.
Stay on target.
and use the force, Jack. The fuck is that? I can't concentrate. But next week I'll try and make it the RCAD again.
Whatever.
The
Hey,
RACD.
it's really your show. So
John is requesting an actual recorded poll to see who the fan favorite is.
Oh, that's just.
I think we've done that. I think Matt won.
I really
Ready? Let's take a vote. All in favor of Matt, say aye.
Aye.
Matt, you win. You won the poll.
Matt.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.
But we'd like to thank all our patrons, but at this time we're going to thank Eckhart Richter Gleffler, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the plan, and Ed, the creepy, poopy letter carrier. We'd like to thank everybody in the chat who joined us tonight. And that's all I got. Anything else? Hasta luego. And goodbye.
So we can talk about The Mandalorian just a little bit longer here. And